just in case I forget. Hi everyone, welcome to Kats Creations live on Friday. It is Friday, October the 15th of the year 2021. I just figured I'd start dating the videos because a lot of people watch them out of sequence. So this will kind of help you correlate newer videos versus older videos. So tonight we are making a hot cocoa inspired wreath. This is an 8-inch round from Jane's Front Door Decor. She has a shop on Etsy. You can find all of her signs there. If you are private group members, you guys can get discounts from her shop by using our special discount code as well. Let's see, tonight we are doing a 14-inch Dollar Tree wreath frame. I've already wired up the first 5 sections, so I'm going to walk you through how to do the 5th, 6th, and final section, and then we'll go ahead and get started with everything. I just color coordinate these just because it looks pretty. So what you're going to do is you're going to use your weld marks. These separate every one of the 6 sections. You're going to take your pipe cleaner and wire together the 2 innermost rings, just like that. Then you're going to take, make sure I'm doing this right, just color coordinating wise, and then you're going to do 2 of the outer rings together, like this. And then we're going to do the same on the opposite side. I'm just using the center one I already created and this and kind of finding a halfway point. It's basically every 2 to 3 inches around the ring, which gives you a grand total of 18, 12 on the outside, 6 on the inside, and then we're ready to go ahead and add our mesh, which is 20-inch pieces of 10-inch fabric Deco mesh. This just happens to be a regular green, and this is from Crinkle Designs, and they have their own website. It's Crinkle with a K, designs.us. So we are going to put the finished edges to the inside, finished edges to the outside. The ends are straight in the middle, which using fabric mesh requires you to cut it with a rotary cutter, just because it doesn't want to cut very well when you have natural fibers like cotton fibers running through it.
Thank you, Anna. Anna sent her stars.
Oh, thank you, Anna.
Happy Friday, everybody.
So our stars program this month, what we're fundraising for, blankets for the homeless. I was like trying to think. So all of October, if you donate anything in stars, which is the little icon you see at the bottom next to your comment, it is basically 1 star is equivalent to 1 cent. So we are taking all the money earned in our star program for the month of October and using it to buy blankets for the homeless. So that is our fundraiser for this month. So we are just laying these in every single one of the 18 pipe cleaners. And the reason why I chose green, just plain green, not green and white, not red, not green and red or green, red, and white, is because when I took the Deco mesh and laid it behind the sign, the only color that really made the sign pop was green. And I tried all different variations. I tried ones with all 3 colors. I just really like how the green alone really made the sign stand out. So that's why I opted just for solid green. And we'll pop it with a bunch of reds and whites in our ribbons. So the ruffle method is the easiest method if you're learning Deco mesh wreaths for the first time. And I'm not removing my 6 inside just yet. I might choose to add some embellishments to those. We'll just wait and see how it all plays out in the very end, because this is a smaller sign. So it's not going to take up as much real estate as a 10 or 12-inch one would. So we'll see if we'll add stuff to the inside. This one's definitely a new design for me. Should have brought my tablet. Bring my tablet this time. Okay, I'm gonna put the ones on the middle straight up so those are easier for me to find them. Should I need to go in and remove them. Do you guys have any questions at all that I can answer for you? You're awful quiet over there.
Everybody just saying hi, jumping on, watching.
Gotcha.
That's it.
Okay. This is where sometimes you wish you could just snap your fingers and it's like, boom, instantly done. Move on.
And asked, is that value mesh?
No, this is a fabric mesh. You'd really be able to tell if it was value mesh because it'd be very thin and almost completely see-through. Like you wouldn't get the look right now of even this. You would really be able to see all the way to the frame. You'd see all the pipe cleaners. So this is a fabric mesh because it's got natural cotton fibers running through it. They're just the same color as the mesh itself. So it's kind of hard to see it.
I just said the green color and kind of said what color green is that?
It's just like if you look this up, it's just a regular green. Yeah, it's not like an emerald green or a metallic or moss. It's just green. I guess if you had to define it, probably a Kelly green.
Are you placing the mesh outside of the frame first?
No, I'm taking the very next pipe cleaner that I come to, and that's where the next mesh piece is going. Like this one's going to the outside. And then if I was to look at the next pipe cleaner I'm going to come to, down the rows I'm building this all the way around, it's going to go to the inside. So it'll go inside, outside, outside, inside, outside, outside, inside. So I just go to the very next one. I just find that it lays better. You're not having to fight with the mesh as much because you're just kind of laying them side by side.
Yes, they are 20-inch ruffles.
Mm-hmm.
Jansen, why do my wreaths always seem to require more mesh than yours? I do use Deco burlap mesh.
Deco burlap mesh. It would depend where you're getting it. Where you purchase it from, because you could look at, I don't know, a lower brand Deco burlap mesh like at Hobby Lobby. It's very thin, which means that it requires you to use more of it than you might if you buy a heftier brand of the same type of mesh.
Oh, Anna, she says, hi, this is Anna. I went online and found the same sign, but I got the bigger sign. Will the 14-inch round frame work with the bigger sign?
It'll work, yeah, it'll work all the way up to 12 inches.
Yep.
Yes, ma'am. You might have, like this one is,
It's only 8, right?
yeah, so this is almost 6 inches smaller. No, 4 inches smaller than the one you're going to get. So this just happened to be the one that I had. And I'd been waiting on some hot cocoa ribbon that I had ordered for this sign, which came in. So
I think your favorite size sign now is the 10-inch, right?
It's the 10-inch, yeah. That's like my all-time favorite. It's just sometimes hard to find designs in a 10-inch round because people either went 8 or 12 for the longest time.
Yeah.
10-inch fit perfect, really nicely on a 14-inch frame. So will this though. We just have room for more embellishments. So we'll embellish a lot. Or we might have 2 bows. Who knows?
Happy Friday, gals.
Almost finished.
You are.
What? Doing the back, the mesh part. Yes. Not almost finished. Entirely. No. Not there yet. Not that fast. Okay. Pop this one in. There we go.
Jan says she got it from Craft Outlet.
What that? The sign?
The mesh.
Oh, the mesh?
Yeah.
Did it perchance start with the letters XB? If it's XB, there's like a running joke that XB stands for extra bad, but it's not. You just have to.
It's kind of their version of value mesh, I guess, right?
You know, I used to say that because for the longest time, I used to think that the XB was like the worst mesh you could buy. But there's some XB labeled mesh that is really nice to work with. So like, trying to think what is, like the red and white we used last week. That was XB mesh. So that was really nice. Everybody loved it. So you just can't tell. 3 more. That one there. And this will take exactly 1 roll of Deco mesh and leave you nothing on the roll, which is a nice calculation because when I first started, I had tons of leftover rolls of mesh, not knowing what I would use those for. Okay. You can totally tell I'm working with the inside ones because these ones are a little tighter. So I always try to do it against the roll so you get a ruffle and not just a large curl. Okay, 1 more. We gotta squeeze it in here. Right there. There we go. And drop it right in the center. And now it starts to feel a little bit more like a traditional Christmas wreath because you've got that green and then these pops of red and white from my pipe cleaners. Not my intention really, but that is the base and it measures from mesh tip to mesh tip 24 inches in diameter. So that's how wide the whole mesh on a 14-inch frame. When we add that 10-inch mesh, it's adding an extra 10 inches, which makes sense because you have 5 inches here, 5 inches here. Remember, the extra goes to the center. So we are going to add our ribbon tails, and this one's going to be a little bit different. So I'm going to show you what we're doing here. We have this 2.5 inch with the holly. Note the bottom of the sign, it has a little holly berry on it, so we're going with that. This is from 5th Street Studios. They have their own shop, and you can also find them on Etsy. And then we're doing a red 2.5 inch Merry Christmas, which came from Craft Outlet. Both cut to 14-inch pieces, and we are going to alternate them all the way around just the outside 12. So I fold them in half to find middle, and then I gather right up the middle, and then it's that part that goes inside our Deco mesh on the outside. And then we're just going to alternate this going around. And if you notice on here, you have the green edging on one side and the red on the other. I'm going to be alternating that as well, flipping it upside down to give you like one that has a green edge on top, and then the next one will be a red edge on top.
Yeah, the mesh is cut to 20 inch. Barbara, it's an 8-inch sign from James Front Door Decor.
Yes, sir.
Melissa said, just finished 3 wreaths this week.
That's a tongue twister.
Community group.
Can't wait to see that.
It was a grateful and blessed sign with sunflowers, and the other 2 are slightly different Bosnian inspired ones.
Nice. I can't wait to see those.
Richard says, Dolores says hello. She loves your work. Hi, Dolores.
Hi, Dolores. Welcome. Okay. So I think I'm going to pop the holly to the outside. So I'm looking, because I've made that statement that we're going to alternate what goes up on each of the holly. I've got to pay attention to that, not just put it in, so that we have, I started with red, and now I'm doing green on the top, red on the bottom, just to give it a different look. And then also making sure that when I'm doing the Christmas ribbon, that my letters are all going in the same direction. So we're not putting those in upside down. Even though we are cutting the words apart or the letters apart. Let's go under.
Deborah says, I love this last one I made with you. She ended up selling it.
Woo, that's a good thing. Love to hear that.
Oh, she was talking about the hot chocolate one. Okay.
Nice. Okay, we are going. Making sure red's on top this time. Love this ribbon. It is such a great quality. It's very, very thick. Both of them, actually. Okay. Got those. Will I? I don't know. We'll see. I was like trying to think, what am I going to be putting on those? Because this is a little different as well. So we're going to go green on top. Just like that. What do you guys think of the ribbon so far? Just the 2.5-inch ribbon looks gorgeous on the screen. Okay. Flipping.
Rita said, love the ribbons.
Thank you.
Audrey said, looks fantastic, very pretty.
Thank you. Trying to do some more traditional Christmas instead of the non-traditional. I think that's what we did all last weekend, was all kind of non-traditional. Okay. It's like 2 more. Then I'm going to show you how we're going to differ what we normally do to our outside. Sometimes you have to take your cut ends and flip them the way they need to go. Like this one's on our inside. So I need it to kind of go under so my ribbons will lay flat. And last one is going to be green up. Right in here. we go. Okay, so the outside 2.5 inch ribbon is done. And what we're gonna do is I am gonna show you how to make what's called a double bow. So we're gonna use our green, and then we're also gonna use this 1.5 inch, and it's like different color cups with different kinds of like hot cocoa in it. So some have marshmallows with the peppermint stick like is featured behind me. Some have whipped cream like with a gingerbread on top. Some just have like whipped cream with the sprinkles, and some is just hot cocoa, no nothing. So these are cut to 18-inch pieces, and I'm going to place them to where the tails are together. I'm going to go up about 2 inches from the top. I'm going to pinch that in. These are going on all the red Merry Christmas ribbon. And then we're going to take the green and do the same. And then we're going to put them together side by side like this. These are going straight in our pipe cleaners, just like I'm holding them, so that you get a loop on each side, but it's also alternating. Let me put my red on top here so we can actually see.
Karen, she has before put ribbons on the inside pipe cleaners, but with the sign, a lot of times she doesn't do that anymore. It just depends on what the sign looks like, what's inside it.
So on this one, you open up the bows, the loops on your bow. I'm going to flip this around so you can see it. And then you have to always right side one of your tails to get them both to lay flat. And let's finish this off, meaning finish out the pipe cleaner. Yes, those are way over here. And then we're going to trim this up. So before I do this, let me show you what we did. So this is what's called the double bow, meaning that it has 2 loops but 4 tails. So I'm going to show you what that looks like. Can you zoom in? Right here, this is a double bow. So this is going to be placed on every single one of just the solid red Merry Christmas sections. So we're going to do that there.
The mistletoe ribbon is from 5th Street Studios.
And then on the ends of those, we are going to, as I get to them, we're going to alternate red, white, or green balls. And these are just little styrofoam balls, so they just go right on the ends. And then when we're finished, I'll go back in and glue all those so that those are permanent. So that's how we're embellishing that section only. And then I'm also going to alternate these so that you have either the hot chocolate ribbon on the right or hot chocolate ribbon on the left. Just something different that you can, customers may not notice. So it's just, see, I was going to do them. So I'm going to flip them. So then we have hot chocolate on this one on the right and the green ribbon on the left. And then trim these down to about 1 inch and then put my little balls on them. Which right side our ribbon. Open our loop.
Richard and Wanda said love the double bows.
Aren't those pretty? They're like my favorite. Except you can't do double bows on the whole thing. Because the double bows are a little bit wider and they kind of run into the next section. Okay, so we'll do white and green. Just like that. Open.
The hot cocoa ribbon 1.5 inches is from 5th Street.
Yes. Oh, I didn't tell you that. And then the green is also from Crinkle Designs. Okay, so now we're back to the hot cocoa ribbon being on the left. Left, girl, left. Okay. Open. Open. Flip this one around. And flip this underside one. Okay. Something pretty. Then we'll do red and white. So these little styrofoam balls, you can get them at Hobby Lobby in their seasonal section. Sometimes they sell them all three colors together. And then they would be like in a package that looks like this. You can tell how I've packaged these. This was Valentine's Day. Dollar Tree also sells them. So just kind of browse the craft sections or the seasonal sections in both places. You should be able to find them. Okay. That one. And this one. Other way. Open. And we'll do green and red. And you can see how easy they go on. So it's not difficult to add those little ball embellishments. There's that one.
Chance, this is on the red ribbon, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
just the red ribbon. Yeah, because if you were to put the hot cocoa on the one with the mistletoe, it just seems like too much going on. You're either looking at the mistletoe or trying to figure out what's on top of that. So if we were to add, say, this with that, it's a little too difficult to see. So I just figured it would tone it down a little bit to just play with those colors on top of red. Okay. That one. Okay, we'll do red and white. Just like so cute. Okay, last one. This one. And then this one. So much detail now in the ribbon, it's just unbelievable.
Well, Lisa, would you say that the sign has to have some sort of base mesh color? Oh yes, absolutely. That's why you're doing the green base mesh.
Yeah. I tried red and white. I tried red, white, and green. And honestly, the only look I really loved, the way the sign played against it, was the solid green.
Karen, the 1.5" ribbon for the double bows are 18 inches long.
Yes. Okay, so now where we have the holly, we are going to take this metallic flex tubing, which is from the Dollar Tree. You can also get it online at virtually any place that sells wreath supplies. So we're taking the metallic red and the metallic green. Just pull those out. And we're going to make little mini bundles for those. There we go. Okay. It's just easier to drop it below. So what I'm going to do is, it's basically about 3-inch tail, and then they average to about 2-inch loops by the time you measure. You just kind of get into a groove, like where you have your loops, and you can kind of just tell that's 2 inches. And then this bundle is going right on top of that holly, just to kind of add a little bit of the metallic and just something different. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to pop the scatters and fillers, the little balls, on top of that. I'll show you what that looks like. So I'm going to spin this around so you can kind of get an idea of exactly what that is. Go. Here's our green, and sometimes you get, there's always just these like weird ends. Let's make sure that's all undone. There we go. Okay, so we're doing these just on our mistletoe. So they just get 2 bundles on each, and then a tail. Okay. Do green, and then white. So have you guys used flex tubing in your designs before? I'm sure most of us have. This is where I started out, was flex tubing, because it was inexpensive. It was a nice little punch. You didn't have to be a skilled bow maker to use it, because you're just putting it in little bundles. Green. Okay.
Says, Kat, use your bow to hold your tubing. Works great. Oh yeah, she does. She knows.
I lean on it so it doesn't drop to the floor, because the weight of it is all, like, the majority of it's, you know, on the floor. I just find that if I do it like this, I don't have to pull it across everything.
Trisha said they need to combine the bow and the easy bow maker.
Right? They could. Someone just has to do it. Trying to get this one to spin. There we go. Little bundles. See, I'm thinking if we need to eat up some of the real estate, we could just make little bundles and put those around the sign. But we'll see how it goes. Might not need to. We'll wait and see. And white. And putting the little styrofoam balls on the pipe cleaners are something little kids can do. Here's the other one. 2 more sets, right? Yes. Okay. It's funny, even when I do St. Patrick's Day, this is kind of like my version of Clover. I will always make the bundles in groups of 3, with one group having a bundle of 4, like a 4-leaf clover. Again, little details customers probably are never going to pay attention to, but I like it. Okay, last
Wanda,
one.
yeah, she normally does 3 loops with the tubing.
3 loops?
Yeah.
Yeah, this one's 4. Whoop. Okay. And you get, I think there's like 36 feet in here, so you get a lot of flex tubing. There we go. Last bundle. And then we'll create our bow, add our sign, and then there's some last minute little touches. And then we need to figure out, do we need to remove the center 6, or are we going to put something else in there? So let me take this. Set that there. Still a lot left over. Add my balls. Okay, so now on the outside it's all finished, but now we've got to finish the inside. So we are going to use the Bodabra, and we're going to take all of our ribbon colors. So there's our hot cocoa one, our green. And then we are also popping in 3 more colors. So we're going to do red and white Swiss dot, which is from Craft Outlet. It's like a mistletoe on white print, and this is from Craft Outlet as well. And then this is the same as that pattern here on our signs. This is kind of like a ticking. It's a red, white, and green ticking, also from Craft Outlet. So Craft Outlet, Craft Outlet, Craft Outlet, Craft Outlet. These 2 are from Fifth Street Studios, and then the green is from Crinkle. And I'm going to start with my red on here. And let's see. We're going to dovetail this first. This is one of those things where you have words on it. So that becomes a challenge to try to make sure that your words all kind of fall in the same direction, so you don't have some letters upside down, some letters not. Knowing that I am going to be doing a 10-inch tail, you're going to just measure out 10 inches and then gather right at the 10-inch mark. And then you're going to pull this back to your start finish. And my loop size needs to be 5.5 inches. So 5.5 and 5.5 is 11 inches. So right at 11, I'm going to gather that. I'm going to put those 2 together. And then I'm going to go back to my start line and measure out 11 inches for the other side. Okay. Flip this over. And then I need my 10 inches for my tail, which is right here. So I'm going to take the whole thing. I'm going to place it all in the center of my Bodabra. So letters are right side, letters are right side on both my tails. So they're all facing the same direction. So you have to build it outside of your bow maker, and then you can put it back in and you're good, just like that. Before, I was like probably most of you, I'd build half of it to where I got to the, hey, the letters are going upside down, cut that, and then kind of piece it together in my bow maker and hope for the best. So our holly doesn't require any changing. So we dovetail our ends. This is really thick wire at the end. It's like a flat, thick wire. So this is going to 9.5 inches. You gather, and then we're going to twist, and then this is where you can start using your bow maker the way you're supposed to. So I'm going to measure out 5 inches from here to where it meets my bow dabra, placing my bow maker on the 10, so I see my lines line up right here, and then just pull your loop out and make sure it hits your 5-inch line, which it does. Do the same for the other side. Make sure there's 5, and then we have a 9.5 inch tail with really thick wire in the middle. And then let me go over how you do a dovetail cut, which is just take your wired edges, you're going to bring them together, and your destination point's always going to be the corner. So you're going to start with your scissors on the fold and cut to your end point, and depending upon how high up you are on your fold will determine the depth of your V. So I like them fairly deep. Some people just do barely anything. It's designer preference. Okay, now we need to mix these up. So I think I'm going to take my green. I think I'm gonna leave on the, I'm gonna end on this. So green. Then I think our holly. Then I think a red. Then I think we'll go with this. And then finish up with this. Let me think about that. Or can we? I think I'm going to do it like that. So I'm going to do here, 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 here. So that we're alternating a little bit more of a solid color in between the ones that are printed on white. So that's the order they're going to go in the bow maker. And when you're building your bow, you're starting from the bottom and working your way up to the top. So again, wired edges together. And this one is going to be measured at 9 inches. Go ahead and pinch that in. And our loop size on this is going to be 4.5 inches. So always measuring. Okay, same here. That one I can tell is a little bit long. A little bit shorter. Okay, out to 9 inches.
Oh, yeah, that's a key question.
What's that?
Yeah, can I ask why the candy cane is upside down on the cupboard? Because the elf is hanging off the bottom of it.
Yeah, you can't see it because the peppermint thing is here. So he's just, it's like a whimsical toy kind of thing. So he's hanging off the end. So you didn't see that it was 2 separate pieces. So yeah, he's a door hanger. Yeah, they're super cute to make. Just something different for a candy cane. You know, thinking outside of the box. Maybe like things elves would do without Santa supervision, I guess. Okay. This one is going to be 8.5 inches. And it's going to be the 4-inch or 4.5-inch loop. So because we've already measured the bottom one, if you put your fingers in both and give it a tug, you can make sure that the top and the bottom loops are the same. Both measuring 4.5 inches. And then again, just double check your length for your tail at 8.5.
You said that's why I like you. You're so creative. You think outside the box.
I think most creative people are, or we have to be, right? Because it's like, well, what else are you gonna do? Candy cane, another candy cane. How can you make a candy cane wreath different? Oh, let's make that. Oh, flip it upside down. Use it that way. Okay. So this one is going to be 8 inches with a 4-inch loop. Okay. And this just kind of ties that holly into the rest of the bow. 4 inches. Let's see. A little bit shy. Okay, back over here. We've got 4. Now we need to make sure we have 8. A lot of ribbon. A lot of ribbon. But some people like a lot of ribbon in their designs. I think at Christmas, it should give you the opportunity to use a lot of ribbon. Okay. Now we're going to do our Swiss dot. And this one's going to be 7.5 inches for the tail length and 3.5 inches for our bow. Right? No. 4 inches for the loop. So we've done 1 at 10, 1 at 9.5. Or that's the tail length, sorry. Loop size. 5.5, 5, 2 at 4.5, 2 at 4 inches, and then 1 at 3.5. When you start getting below 3.5, it's like, wow, why did you even put ribbon in there? There's almost not enough ribbon to see doing it that small.
Guys, Kat can answer some questions on the candy cane at the end of the video.
What they want to know. I'm just sitting here making a bow.
Kat said, was the candy cane done in your private group?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah, Jan, yeah, this video will be on YouTube later. And they asked, was the candy cane on the covered door made with loopy yarn?
Yes, it was.
Yes, it was.
Yes, it was. It just makes it super soft and fluffy. Okay, last one. This is going to be 7-inch tail and a 3.5-inch loop for our finished part of our bow. There we go. Flip this around, making sure we're at 3.5 inches. Pull that in just a bit. See what I'm saying? 3.5 inches is like 1.5 inches on both sides, kind of. Well, no, not really. 3.5. Out to 7. Okay. And out. Okay. Making sure I'm hitting my trash can. You'd be surprised at the number of times I'm just doing this, missing the trash can entirely. Okay, we are going to do white for pipe cleaner. So, it's easier to have it somewhat prepared before you pick up all your ribbon. If you try to do it after you have your ribbon in your hand, it's kind of tough. But that's a pretty thick base for a ribbon. So 7 ribbons thick. Now here's the challenging part. Things you have to think about when you are placing your bow, because we went through the extra step of making sure that the ribbon words are correct. That determines which way your bow has to face. So we're going to go ahead and loop this whole thing right on my hook. So it's hooked right here. This is an 18 by 24 inch by 3/4 inch thick, just a cutting board with an 1.5 to 2 inch C-hook in it. If you don't have someone who can cut the wood and you don't want to spend the money on a cutting board, just go to your home improvement stores, get a 24 1 inch thick piece of lumber, pick up a couple C-hooks, and you got yourself a fluff board.
Yeah, Kat likes to stand when she does her stuff.
For the last 4 years.
She used to do the ribbon standing or sitting.
Standing. Much easier standing. So.
Her back pays for it later, but she still likes standing.
I have a gel mat. It's a really thick, cushy gel mat that I stand on, so I'm okay. So loop and then tail. When you go to the other side, you're going to always make sure that your loops and your tails are going across from one another. So just like that. And then you're going to pull down the next one, and we're going to go opposite so that we have our loops, our tails to the other side. We have our loop and our tail, so that as we're working these down, you're always alternating the colors of your loops from the colors of your ribbon. Kind of helps with the separation process. And then we're going to do the same here. So here, and then over to the other side. I put my finger in the loop. Nope, wrong side. You can tell, because if you get 2 tails next to each other, you did it the wrong way. So we're going to go here. Okay, back over to the green. There we go. And then we're on our holly. So I always get an opportunity when you're separating to kind of, you know, if you need to, if your ribbon kind of gets folded in the pinch, you can take the time right then and just right side that. Back over to the other side. There we go. And then we're here. And then here. And now we get to mix and match colors. So everything is separated, tails. In a sense, the tails are in the middle. Well, in my middle. And then the loops are all up and down. So I'm going to start with the bottom. And you just kind of pick what you want to see where. And then do the same to the other side. Okay, get the ones on the bottom. Okay, to put the little curls back into our tails, you just kind of run them between your fingers, just like the days of curling ribbon. This is the beauty of what wired ribbon can do. So looking at the words, this has to be right here. Kind of weird. But looking at here and here, kind of almost has to be here, although it depends. So if you want your loops to be the right letter configuration, then you do it this way. If you want your tails to have your letters in the right direction, because we separated those in like 1 of 4 corners, then you're gonna do it this direction. So there's the bow all finished. We're gonna take this off the C-hook, set that to the side. We will grab our wreath, and then we will look at placement of our sign. So, that's so nice. It's my favorite part, putting the sign on. It's kind of like putting your cherry on the top of your sundae, but look how gorgeous the green pops the sign. It just looks so nice because it takes all the accent colors on the outside and pulls it into your sign, but really makes your sign stand out. So that was the reason why we went with green and not red, because the green just popped. The red just didn't do anything. So I'm going to kind of offset this. So this tells me this pipe cleaner and that pipe cleaner have to go, probably this one as well. Our bow will be occupied here and here. So I'm going to go ahead and remove my pipe cleaners in the center, because between the sign and the bow, I'm going to fill the empty space in the middle.
Jasmine, so 2 3/8 ribbons on the bottom, and the rest are always 1.5 inches.
That's just what I do.
Yeah.
You could go 3 2.5 inch ribbons on the bottom. There's no right or wrong formula. I just think since you're technically building the bow from the bottom up, it looks nicer to have the thicker, wider ribbon at the bottom rather than have it way up here, and then you're going to kind of miss your smaller width ribbon if it's under a 2 inch or 2.5 inch.
Yeah, one thing the cat always does is she always takes a look at the sign, and then she'll put like a roll of Deco much behind it to see if it blends too much or if it really pops. That's one thing that she really does well.
Can you grab a roll of red and I mean, you guys saw it on the green. Just one of the rolls that are in the closet already pre-done, like already open and used. I'll show you how I kind of do it. Let me fix my bows right here. I'm sure we'll be doing this a couple times.
It's kind of a plain red, but
That's okay. So, this is what Steve was telling you. So, I would take red, right? Just a flat red. And you put red behind the sign. So this, some people may get a different vibe from feeling whether or not that matches versus right on top of green. You know, I kept doing this and you could go, here's silver or white iridescent. See what I'm saying? It just, you would think, okay, well, let's pop. Well, what if you did red, white, and green? Sometimes even doing something like that, where you take all 3 and lay your sign on top of it, you're not feeling it as much as, I really like the way that looks. So then that becomes how you determine what color mesh to use.
and it's all your individual choice.
That's why art is subjective. That's why I always say there's no right or wrong way of doing anything. There's just, you know, there's some people who follow recipes based on what they feel, you know, after cooking it so long. And then you have other people who follow the recipes to the letter. It doesn't mean that the person who doesn't follow the recipe makes something that doesn't taste as good. Let me find my wire.
If you forget, if it looks good, you get it. Yep.
Exactly. If it feels for you, what you want it to do. There's that one. Here it is. gonna have to go get 22 gauge wire because we're almost out. Okay, so I use floral wire, especially when working with fabric mesh, because pipe cleaners have a tendency of getting hung up on those little fibers as you're trying to push them through. If they get stuck on one cotton fiber, it's like so difficult to try to find out what fiber did it get hung up on. So that was almost out. Okay, let me clear space. That's out. Now we can move all this stuff down. I have space now. Okay, so we are going to punch holes in the side, and I use a 1.5 millimeter beadsmith hole punch, just like that. You can get them on Amazon, Walmart, Hobby Lobby, Joann's, Michael's. You would probably find them in your stores in the jewelry department because they're metal hole punches. So most people use them for jewelry making before that we started wreath making. So there it is for that one. Okay. A little bit more. And I build them from the back so the sign lays flat because the wire's to the back, not to the side. So it kind of just builds a little base down here. And then it's much, much easier to go ahead and place that. So I am attaching this one. And it's right where one of my interior pipe cleaners used to be. So make sure I get both my wires going. Don't want to go too low. You want to make sure you get your wire between your wire. I'm going to kind of pull some of my mesh out here. Okay. There we go. Trying to separate the middle from the ends, meaning the Deco mesh that you placed that is on the interior space versus the mesh that you put on the outside. So I'm trying to separate those. On.
Deborah, it's really not much of directions. It's just a 3/4 inch cutting board that we had that I screwed a C-hook, like an inch and a half C-hook in the middle of it, and then hammered a nail in on one side. So you can get those from local hardware stores, like 24 inches by 24 inches.
Okay. I think I want this one up just a little bit higher. So I'm going to go up here. I was trying to bring it down to the right. When I did that, I wasn't liking how it laid in there. There we go. I get that fixed, and then I can fix why this one is so high and that one's so low. Because I have all the stuff on this side. I haven't pulled it out. Okay. So what I'm saying by separating the inside from the outside is you're basically taking your inside mesh and letting that be the base that your sign sits on, and all your underside mesh, I think this one's exterior. It's exterior next to interior. There we go. Because I like to frame my sign so you don't see round on top of your mesh base. So this is all exterior, exterior, interior. Same thing here. Here is interior. So that needs to go in. This needs to go out. But we don't want to bury it either. So let me fix. Gotta right side all these. Then we'll pop our bow in. Our bow is going to go right in this general area. So I'll probably take this just to give me a flat place. It's like trying to find a nice flat spot to land your plane. In this case, it's my ribbon. So, and then we'll fix that. Okay, so I am going with, for my ribbons, let's see, let's move these to the side. This is going to go right in here because I don't want to cover my sign. And this is where you'll fight your pipe cleaner because it gets stuck on all the threads.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And now we'll fix all the ribbon tails. Fix all these. You can manhandle your ribbons pretty good, flipping them and fluffing them. Making sure these aren't laying flat. Let me flip it this way. Okay. Like here. So I'm going to add a trio of bundles to go around the sign to get rid of some of the solid green that surrounds the sign. Just make sure these are all fixed because you occasionally will flatten things. Okay. There's our interior space. Let me elevate my sign a bit. I just don't like how it's a little too sunken in. There's that. On the other side, loosen that up. And just lift it. Okay, now it sits up, not squished down. Okay, so the bundles now. What the heck is she talking bundles? So we're gonna make some bundles from our Deco mesh, and we're gonna use green because we want it to blend in with our mesh. There we go. Here's red. Let's see if we can find the green one right here. So we're gonna do the same thing. 3-inch tails. We're gonna make a couple of these. And we are going to twist feel like I'm making a balloon animal. So there's that. One, two, three. There's that one. And lastly, one, feels a little big, 2, 3, 4, and a tail. There we go. Okay, so these are all going to get added around our sign. So like so.
It's all nestled in for a long winter's hang.
Right? So there's that one.
That's looking good.
And we'll put one right in, trying to hit my frame. Oh lordy, go through the mesh. Okay, down in here, not too far, so we don't want to take it all the way down. And then we're going to put one probably in this spot. Okay. And then you have pipe cleaners that bend the wrong way. Okay. So these will move to the side. Just enough to frame. And then we're going to add one small embellishment to those, which are marshmallows. Because it says extra marshmallows on this sign. So the one thing we haven't done is like, how do you add marshmallows? Do you take them and let them dry out and shellac them? Could, I guess, if you wanted to put in legitimate, but you can find these things on Amazon. They are called foam shapes. So, and this one's actually called marshmallows. And you get 50 in a bag. They're called foamies, is the name of the manufacturer. And then they're just like little foam shapes. So we're gonna put these right in here on our loops. So we have some marshmallows. I like the one. I don't think we need a double one. I think the double one would just be weird. I like the single. Let's just do singles. So we're gonna put a dab of glue right on our pipe cleaner. We're gonna come in with your foam marshmallow. Go ahead and add that. Right on the tip.
Oh, gotcha. I was trying to figure out what you said. He is, I'll trim pompous to a square shape. And then he meant pom-poms.
Oh yeah, you could.
You could. Yeah.
You could also, if you needed big ones, you could do pool noodles. I've seen people take pool noodles and they cut them in half. Yeah, right. Tapping into other people's creativities. So how much fun was that?
How cute is that? Yeah. Oh, so clever.
So let us, I need to put one little sparkle in the center of our bow.
Steve says, I love the marshmallows.
Right? Okay, let's put sparkle in the center. Do we need the red or should this green look better? Green. Okay, so dab of glue and then plop that right in the center. And we're finished. Just like that. This wreath is already up on my website, which is KatsCreationsNMore.com. If you'd like information on how to join my private group, we are doing it's 2 tutorials every week on top of the public ones. And then it just depends on how many days are in a month. I think in August we did 10 tutorials for the month of August, which was crazy. So let me show you. Let's move this one here. Show you what it looks like. This is a standard 36-inch door. Have that on the hook right away. Okay, and there you guys go. It's all super pretty, traditional Christmas colors with a little bit of a twist, a hot cocoa twist. So, yeah. There you guys go. I hope you enjoyed our tutorial. I will be back on Sunday at 6 with another design tutorial. I haven't thought that one through just yet, but oops.
Here's another wreath, definitely Christmassy looking. And
Perfect.
I love all the embellishments.
Awesome.
Jan, if you're in the private group, if you miss a session, all of her recordings stay in the private group, so you can just watch
I have a library, so you can just go in. Yeah, you have access to all of my tutorials for the last 4 years. So, yeah, pretty awesome. All right, well, thanks for joining me on Friday. I hope you guys have an amazing weekend, and I hope you'll join me back here on Sunday at 6 p.m. Pacific. That would be 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Have a great night, everyone.